CEVAL, thank you so much for taking the time. I believe you're quarantining in a hotel, is that right?
Hi, thank you for having me. Absolutely, yeah. And weirdly and oddly enough, I am.
How did that happen?
And basically, in my building, I think there were one or two cases that were, and basically found out positive.
Okay.
So, like the community leaders in that area decided, let's move basically the entire building to to a hotel.
Wow. So how long have you been in the hotel?
And basically, I've been here now a week and a half.
Okay, so you were actually you were quarantining in your hotel, or where you were staying, your apartment.
No, I was in quarantine in my apartment
Your
first.
apartment, and then they
The
found
first 2 weeks.
cases, and then they moved everybody out. Okay, I got it.
Yes, yes.
What are you 24/7 on Instagram? What are you doing to pass the time?
And for me, it was luckily there's these PR agencies and with fabulous women and men. So they sent me some products from MAC and MAC Glow Blush Challenge, and like put my mind in something else, a distraction. And then I made my first TikTok video.
That's fabulous. What did you do?
And basically I showed how I used the blush and like the palettes that they gave me and how I used it to like articulate myself in that sense in that moment.
Is it your name for TikTok? How can I find you?
And my name on TikTok is CEVAL with a double L. I was like, wait, who took my first name?
Yeah,
because on Instagram,
CEVAL's out there.
on Instagram, I have just one handle. It's just CEVAL.
Yeah.
So like, who has it on TikTok?
You got to claim it early. You got to get in there early. Get your name on every kind of social media early. You got to get there. So tell me a little bit about, are you having comfort food, or are you binge watching any shows? What other things are you doing besides, TikTok that are helping you?
And actually, when we were checking into the hotel and they were asking us about our preference for food because they are giving us room service 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I'm starting finally my journey with veganism and vegetarian. So I was like, I don't want any meat, and so I've been having very like good food.
And so that's going well. You're not missing the meat?
No, I'm not missing in the meat. It's actually one of the things I think everyone could be like change that kind of lifestyle if it's so accessible to them, if it's so easy to them. Like you're not preparing it yourself, it's provided to you already, and you're hungry.
3 times a day. It's easy to be
vegan. Yeah, and you're hungry, so obviously you're gonna eat and be fine with it.
So listen, tell me a little bit about what you feel the industry is going to, because you were at Fashion Week like I was in Paris, and then you came back and you were in quarantine. How do you feel that the industry and maybe also your career and what you do might be changing once the world kind of sets itself right again?
I think one of the most important things people need to do right now in this moment is kind of actually start getting like acknowledging their emotions, because for so long we've just been in a fast pace. We've so many things and so many emotions that kind of has been like a wall between, and we've absolutely lost the sense of empathy and understanding for each other. So if we for example, I was feeling fine the first day when I was doing like the TikTok because I put so much energy and emotions into that. The next day I felt so like low and had my curtains all the way shut, and like it was completely dark room. And I like kind of felt within my emotions and like kind of let it simmer there, sat in there, felt it. And then the next day I woke up early, started doing other things and being proactive again, not like feeling the emotions, feeling it, going through it, and then not letting it absorb you, not letting it overtake you. It's something that we have very much time for now. So
yeah,
with
really
that,
like to take self-reflection now and to really think about what's important.
Exactly. very much so. Cause yeah,
do you think that the fashion industry as a whole will take a beat out of that? I mean, clearly, I think things are going to maybe be slower to get started again. But do you think that we're going to go back to the way we were? I mean, we had Milan.
I think very easily we're gonna do that because we're not even doing it right now. To like, we're not even tapping into it. We're trying to avoid it. That's why we're having such a hard time being home and like not having any distractions and not having too much work to do and like kind of actually being face up front with it.
Mhm.
So absolutely, if we, for example, I was thinking some of my friends, including myself, were like drinking kind of almost every day, having 1 to 3 to 4 glasses of wine. Nothing that there's anything wrong with that. But what I realized is if I continued to do that when this was over, that would kind of have been, I would have maybe had that as a crutch, you know, and then not even realize it because I was just doing it because there's actually nothing else to do. But then these crushes, these problematic ways how we deal with it right now is gonna determine how we and the end result when all of this is finished and how we move on with our lives as a society and as individuals.
Do you think that, I think before the coronavirus hit, we were starting to move into more sustainability, more inclusivity, more global, inclusive and
very much so.
and authenticity. Do you think that was already starting to happen? I think that Gen Zs and millennials really are asking for those kind of a thing. They want to have transparency in all facets of what they interact with. Do you think that this time is going to even escalate that desire, or do you think that it might shift in a different way? I'm just kind of curious as to what your thinking is.
I think, like, in all honesty, and not even in a naive sense of way, but I think we as a collective, like all of us together, could actually benefit so much from this time, in the sense of we were on our way, but we were also very hesitant. Like, for example, how the entire thing even escalated. Like, we were thinking, oh, it's all the way in China. It's happening over there. But as soon as it kind of hit in our homes, in our safety, that's when we were like, oh no, like went immediately into panic.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we start like differentiating that and this and me and them and they, like, as soon as we give ourselves time to heal and like be nice to ourselves, we have so much more and sense of being that to others.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think that we're going to see this realization. I mean, we all talk about the world getting smaller and globalization, but
Yes, absolutely.
Such a manifestation of how interconnected we all are.
Yeah.
That we're all human.
And like I've noticed I was always very social and like active in that sense, but I never thought that I needed people because I was always good within and alone by myself. But like now realizing actually how much I was dependent on being seen and being heard and having like interact with people physically and like emotionally, how much actually that had such an impact, losing that.
Kind of talked about what the state of play is in the world and how we're both thinking it's going to shake out. But talk to me a little bit about how you became a model. And I love that you're a curvy model, because I believe that it's great to see, women of all shapes and sizes and the entire rainbow of colors on the runway. So what made you decide you wanted to be a model, and do you feel like this is really the time for models of all shapes and sizes? Do you feel that that's really opening up?
And more than just like more than all of those things, which I'm also first and foremost a human being. And that is the one thing that I'm mostly representing, a person with all the intricacy and all the complexity that makes us. And like, I feel like we all have these tools of emotions that we can like and take out and like give it to each other, like understand, like I know what pain is, you know what pain is, and like try to tap into those things. So for me, I'm a trans Black curve model. And that, like, being signed and having that like be kind of, that's the time for it. It was kind of how I moved with it. It wasn't something that I immediately decided. It was something that I think it was just the path that I was meant to go, or the path of the time that I just tapped into.
How were you discovered, or did you reach out and kind of embrace this moment within the industry?
And I was weirdly discovered because I always loved fashion, and I was just I was a scout for one of the modeling agencies that signed me.
Oh wow! Oh my God!
Yes. And I also was signed to them very young, but and like my and like the head agent said, this was the time to tap into that. Before that, there wasn't actually a space or any want or need for it. So everything kind of happened very fast paced, very naturally, and people was on Skype calls with London and New York all of a sudden, and they were like, we want you, and we think this is the space for you and the time for you. So it was very nice being kind of acknowledged in that sense, but it was very natural.
Do you feel, so you were working, you know, the backside a little bit of it because you worked in the industry before you actually became a model. Can you talk to me a little bit about what you're enjoying the most about what you do, and what your challenges are, what you're kind of like, this is a bit more of a struggle for me?
Like, honestly, my favorite part of the entire experience is the people. Like, meeting all of these nice, genuine people from all these different parts of the world, and like going to LA to do a job, or like just having that mindset of this is actually happening and this is how people are treating me, just based on the fact that they liked me, they saw me. And it's very weird thing to wrap your head around. But and also what people wrote to me, and like the messages they sent me, and how they were like, oh, I'm so inspired by you, oh, you're doing this for me. And like women, cisgendered women, curve and not curve, and trans women, and like just LGBT people, and also people, Somalian people, like Norwegian people, just so many different kind of, and what's it called again?
You check a lot of different boxes.
Yes, and and all the and all those, like, those are boxes that we are checking off, but those are people behind, like there's spaces and there's emotions, and there's things to that. So it's real, and it's out there, and it's accessible to all of us. I'm not special from of it. It's just, we all, if we gave that to each other, we could all like exist in that space with each other, actually.
And what do you find is the biggest challenge?
The thing that I find the biggest challenge is understanding. No, in the beginning, what I found difficult was, it was so new. So I was like, I started being almost emotionally invested to it, because I was like, oh, I want to do good, because I've never had a space like this. There's never been a space like this. And now I'm kind of being the test rabbit for it, in a sense. So I was like, oh, I want to be good. I want to do good. I want to like make them proud, kind of, in a sense.
Got that kind of pressure on yourself to represent?
Yes, absolutely. But then I realized any job that I get, anything that I do in life, is always going to be because it was meant for me, and nothing that I actually get or do isn't meant for me. So I don't need to like dwell on it.
Don't put that pressure on yourself in that way.
Yes, exactly.
What's been the highlight of your career so far? What have you just like, I can't believe I'm here doing this?
It happened so rapidly. I got signed within a day, and within like less than 10 hours, to all these major cities and agencies, and then through Skype, which apparently isn't a thing.
Now.
Yeah, and then like having a week later, and a week and a half later, having this really amazing article about me on Refinery by Landon, and then 2 weeks later being in New York, and then meeting these people, and all of a sudden having a full week of photo shoots, and then going back to Norway, and then having like one of the biggest L magazines in Norway kind of put me in the first month. My first job was basically the top, the It Girls of Oslo.
Oh my God, that's fabulous. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And then going from not like never been a trans woman there and never been a black curve model in those spaces and Elle magazine in Norway, all of a sudden being in almost four within just 5 months of it.
That's fantastic.
Was very fun thing to experience.
Tell me what once you get yourself out of that hotel room, what's the first, and this all, we find it an antidote or a vaccine, and we're all able to be out in the world again. What's the first thing that you really want to do?
I want to travel.
Where do you want to
go? And I want to go back to New York because I love New York. And then I want to go to South Africa, and like I want to go also back to Paris because it was cut short.
Well, listen, when you come back to Paris, hook me up. We'll go out. We'll have a coffee.
Yes.
We'll celebrate together. Listen, thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Good luck. See you soon.
Yes. Mwah. Be safe, everyone. Stay home.